Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, I am doing another He-Man a look inside video. Now, when I first saw this book, I had no interest in it. I saw this panel and thought, ugh, it's going to be hideous. The design's going to be awful. I didn't notice it was a DK book. I don't know what that means, but they're cool. Like the Ultimate Guide ones, like the Transformers one, which I have, which I love. Although I wasn't sure exactly what this book was going to be because it wasn't called an Ultimate Guide, but then again, the Batman one was called The World of the Dark Knight when it's actually exactly the same as the Superman Ultimate Guide. So I wasn't sure exactly what was going to be in this, but I got it anyway. So we've got Origins art on the front, and on the inside we have a nice blue tinted picture, which is what all the other Dark Horse books, Master Universe books had, but now the last one, the Art of Origins and Masterverse, just has blank red pages. So thanks for the consistency. So yeah, we have. It's a mix of everything. This book. It's just a Master of the Universe book really, where it's just like it calls itself the epic history of He-Man, She-Ra, and the Master Universe, and it does go over everything, but it doesn't cover everything. It's not fully comprehensive, but it is very inclusive. So we've got some original toy art, contents. I've always loved this picture. Something about it says bubblegum packaging or something. I don't know. I always like this piece of art. So we get a little bit of a guideline of timeline of when things were released and what happened. So just a mix of everything: packaging art, mini comic art, actual toys. Then we get up to the 2000s, and then we get to 2010 to the present, and then we get to Origins. Well, I guess it's just Origins, but so we have some of the art, nice scale, actual picture of a toy, talking about the design. So they literally mean the origins, not the origins line, but the origins of the actual franchise of toys. A lot of this stuff has been covered in other books, but they do it their own way. Some nice art, packaging art, blown up. Now this was just a little disappointing because I'm like, oh, all the toys, but I'm like, no, it's not all the toys, and they're not in any order or anything. They're just all over the place. And they've got ones. I hate the later Master Universe ones, like Rotar and stuff. It would have been really nice if had like the first couple of waves, or just maybe a photo of each wave. It would have been nice just to show what was released. There never seems to be any real plan behind any of these books. I'm like, who is designing them? But so we get a look at the vehicles, Castle Grayskull, which really I would have liked 4 pages on this, like a blown up one of that and a blown up one of the front, not a little small one of the front, maybe a blown up one of the actual artwork or something. So I'm always finding fault with these books. I can't help it. I think it's because the people who design them, they're more, they're not really fans, I don't think. So yeah, we just get an example of the different types of the packaging, the backs, card backs, and some of the art. And of course, some mini comics, some early versions of them. Then we get to the animated stuff, and there's a fair bit of development and sketches and that, which is all interesting, unlike the sketches in the Art of the Origins and Masterverse, which are just a waste of space. These ones, at least, are interesting. They show the development, and they're just interesting to look at. I mean, look at that. It's beautiful. And then we look at things, just random subjects like places and things like Eternia, characters, just get a look at like He-Man, Battle Cat, Teela, Queen Marlena, King Randall, the Sorceress. So we get a look at the animated versions, the mini comic versions, the toy versions. Man-at-Arms. Yeah, I know you can read this. I'm just Origins. Now I do love this one because it's like a. Who am I missing? Okay, just random heroes. I'm like, okay, you couldn't just do them all, but okay, or whatever. Unbeatable Warriors, but I love that we have a full-size, well, an enlarged picture of the Mossman art, because it's really interesting to look at all the paintwork and the detail, because we see these usually so small, like like this small. And just more stuff about the stories. Skeletor's lair, Evil Men, Beastman, Merman. We go through the evil warriors, Trapjaw, Triclops, minions, and more. Snake Man, Slime Pit. I don't know why the Slime Pit gets like a special look at. And this could have been a bit more extensive. They just got like 2 pages with some random collectibles. They could have done more of a guide, would have been more interesting. But yeah, it is like a whole thing, but this is the cool stuff. Now we get to Princess of Power. I guess the same sort of treatment. Dawn of a New Legend. And I hate that people who pretend like She-Ra was the downfall of He-Man. He-Man's biggest year was like the first year that She-Ra came out, and the first couple of years She-Ra was out along with He-Man. It was his best years. It started to go down after that, well, years after She-Ra was released. People act like He-Man was a hit, and then She-Ra came out, and then, you know, boom, went down. No, it didn't happen that way. It's just a bunch of misogynistic crap. Crystal Castle, I love the sketches. I don't think I've ever seen them before. Magical Transport, I still can't get past some of the She-Ra dolls. I'm not as familiar with them as the He-Man line, of course, so sometimes I see photos, I'm like, really? I didn't know they did that. Now we get to Hordak, Shadow Weaver, so, you know, some characters get a spotlight. We, you know, look at their different incarnations and sketches, and some of them I've never seen before, others I've seen a million times. The Evil Horde, the Fright Zone, which of course has so many different versions. It's really hard to, I think they should do a new toy. Again, memorabilia, 2 pages, doesn't cover enough of it. This is probably the most disappointing chapter. I got excited when I'm like, oh my god, a whole chapter about, you know, the movie. And we see, you know, poster art, mini comics, toys, sketches of the characters, sketches of the, you know, Castle Grayskull, and then not a single picture, not a single image from the film itself. And then we go into the books in print. And this book was supposed to be new, but not only are there little spots here and there, but the cover is quite worn, so yeah, okay. So we just look at the DC Comics and some of the art to promote it, the newspaper strips, which I still haven't read the book. Just different publishing, I've got that book. I never saw that one. I want to get some of the old colouring in books, mostly just for the cover art. Princess of Power Publishing. Now we get to He-Man Returns, which is all about, I thought, the new stuff, but it's like the New Adventures of He-Man, which sucks, and they waste too many pages on this series. It's like Beast Wars. I just wish they'd skip it when they look at the history. The 2002 relaunch, which is interesting. Classics toy line, again, interesting. Probably could have done a big page with the insides of the castle, like 4 pages. Again, just 2 pages on collectibles. DC Comics news stories, they went far too much to the fantasy side and not much to the science fiction side of that line. That story didn't get past the first 6 issues. Then we get the new era. We see a Super 7 series. And they mention the Origin packaging art and don't show any of the toys. I'm like, are they just going to do a separate book of the Origin toys? And that's why they're not featuring them at all in the art of all this? I don't know, but I want to see pictures of the Origins toys. I've been collecting them. I want to see them in book form. So now we have Revelation, which, you know, has its issues, but also some beautiful art and beautiful designs. And Masterverse, of course, some of the art there. Still no Jitsu. And the new Cartoon Kiddie show, which I'd never watched and never will. So I'm not 4 years old. A little bit of information about that. Far too much information about that. And now we get to the end, and we have another blue picture in the back, like the Dark Horse ones used to give us. And the back art's not a bit nicer. But yeah, this turned me off. I just never looked at it. And then I took a closer look and realised, oh, this is one of the DK books. This might be decent. It's like a book, just a general book about the whole thing, which could be interesting. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the book. I already said that. Thank God that's at the end.